to prepare an image for image exhibition night for the Cascade Camera Club. So we're going to do this in Photoshop, and what you see here is not Photoshop. This is Adobe Bridge, which comes with Photoshop when you buy it. And I've got an image here. Let me make it a little bit larger here for everyone to see. And so my image is pretty much prepared, although there's a few things I have left to do. So what I'm going to do first is just duplicate the image. And the way I do that is I'm just going to right-click and click Duplicate. Bridge will do this for you. You can also do it in Photoshop, but I've found that it's easier to do it this way. That way you don't forget about it when you get into the part of working in Photoshop. So we're going to wait for this to come up. Here we go. Here's our copy. We're going to double click. And by the way, before I do that, if you look over here on the metadata tab, you'll see all the important information about your image. How big it is in pixels, resolution, size, when it was shot. It even drills down to what lens you shot it in, things like that. So just a little bit of information. So I double click my image. And up comes Photoshop. Here we go. This is a big image, so sometimes if you're working on a laptop or an older computer, it takes a minute or so for everything to come up and get going. It looks like we're almost there. Okay, so like I said, this is it. This is a real big image, and oops, let's get Photoshop back here. We're going to go down here to layers, and as you can see, I've got a load of layers here. I probably don't need all those layers, but I tend to work in a lot of layers when I'm preparing an image. The first thing I want to do is go over to the Image tab, click on Mode, and then make sure that RGB color and 8 bits per channel are selected. Okay. The next thing I want to do is go over onto the Edit menu, go down here to Convert to Profile, and see here I've been working in CMYK preparing some images for print. So now I'm going to click over and scroll down to sRGB. Click that. We're going to click OK. And guess what? We end up going back to one layer. So we change things, we go to one layer, changing the color space. And I'm just going to hit Command J or Control J to duplicate that layer. It's just kind of a habit I get into, and I like to keep it that way. The next thing we're going to do is click on Image and Image Size. Now, in the Camera Club, our image sizes are 1400 wide by 3734 tall. What that means, I'm gonna create an image here. .1400 wide and 1050 tall. And you can see that's a nice size image. I'm going to add just a little bit of fill color to it so you can see what's going on. I could have created that before. And just so you can see how the dimensions work. Some people have a lot of trouble kind of coming up with this concept. And while I'm waiting for my little rainbow wheel to stop running, here we go. Change my color to black. And I'm going to just make that 1400 wide. Let's make it a little bit bigger for everyone to see. And then I'm going to add just another layer here. And again, this is just me showing you the dimensions of how large your image needs to be, or the largest it needs to be. 1050. And you know what I did? I didn't use the right tool here, so I'm going to scroll over here and do a vertical type tool. There we go. And I can't use this same size font here, so I've got to go fix this. Okay, let's try, say, 100 first. There you go. So 1400 by 1050 is what we're looking for. So that's the size of the image that you really want to create for Camera Club. It should be no larger than 1400 wide and no taller than 1050 tall. So if I go back to my other image, how do I make that happen with an image that's as large as this one? And this image is 5028 pixels wide, 3734 tall. Typically, here's how I do this. I will start with the height first and go to 1050. Okay, that gets me pretty darn close to 1400 by 1050. So I'm just going to click on OK. It's going to do a little resize. There we go. And, oops, that's a little bit too big. Here we go. So now, the only thing I need to do is just a little bit of a minor crop. So I take my crop tool over here on the left, and I enter in 1400 by 1050. And as you can see, you can hardly even tell the difference. So I'm just going to click on crop. And by the way, did you notice that you got the rule of thirds grid come up when you click the corners on the crop tool? That's a pretty cool little helper. And next thing I'm going to do, the last thing I need to do for this image, is to just put a little bit of a stroke or a key line around it so that it can be better defined from the background of Photoshop or Bridge. I actually use Adobe Bridge when I'm displaying the images during the exhibition. So the best way to get a line around that is just hit Command A for all or Control A for all on your PC. If you're not into keyboard shortcuts, just go up here and grab the marquee tool drag that across, go up to click Edit, Stroke. We're defaulting to 1 pixel. You may need to change yours. I'm just going to go over here and grab a little bit of white. Some people choose to take a color from their image, and you just do that with the eyedropper tool right here. I'm going to click that OK. And then hit Command D for deselect or Control D for deselect. And that's it. You can see the little white line around the image. And we are good to go. So now we click File, Save As, and we're almost ready for the upload portion. Don't forget to click on JPEG rather than the PSD or Photoshop file. I'm not going to cover renaming here. We'll cover that in a different video. Although you can easily rename your file while you're saving it right here. So when I click on Save, up comes this tool here, and you can adjust this slider. If I adjust it up to 12, it will probably come up, okay, it does, about 1.3 megabytes. That's a little bit too large for what we need for the Camera Club. It's harder to upload, and it's harder to display on the website. So I'm gonna probably click down to around the 8 range, I guess, and that gets me at 357. Doesn't hurt the image at all for display, and it's within our parameters. So I'm going to click OK, and that saves my image, and that is the last part of preparing an image in Photoshop. Enjoy!